Hi everyone, welcome to Teacher Shirley's channel. Our title for today is A Natural Disaster in New Zealand, Earthquake in Christchurch, pause to page 34. By the end of the lesson, pupils will be able to give the meaning of the new words. Choose the correct answers for the passage. Discuss about the phenomenon of earthquake. First, let's start by looking at the pictures. What can you see in these pictures? Okay, first picture shows that the roads are broken into two. And the second one, the buildings collapse. While the third one, you can see the structure of the earth are separated. These are the symptoms, the signs of earthquake, the effects of earthquake. Do we have earthquake in Malaysia? Okay, now let's look at this passage. Okay, on your textbook, pause page 34. Okay, cultural awareness, a natural disaster in New Zealand. Okay, let's listen to the passage. Okay, you can look at the passage first. Okay, and then we discuss the answers. Okay, so the passage, the recording is on 1.43. Okay, listen carefully, look through the passage as I play the recording.
Unit 3, Cultural Awareness, a Natural Disaster in New Zealand. Exercise 2, Earthquake in Christchurch. A few years ago, a terrible earthquake happened in the city of Christchurch in New Zealand. It killed 185 people, but Jay Watson had a lucky escape. What were you doing when the earthquake happened?
I wasn't at school that day because I was sick. I was sitting on my bed when I heard a terrible noise and the whole house started shaking.
What did you do?
I realised it was an earthquake, so I quickly got down on the floor between my bed and the wall. I thought that was the safest place. At school, we often have earthquake drills, so we know what to do in an emergency.
What happened next?
Suddenly, the wall of my bedroom collapsed and I fell out of the house. I fell about 10 metres from the second floor of the house into the front garden.
Were you hurt?
At first, I thought I was seriously injured, but I actually only had a few scratches and bruises on my back. I was really lucky.
How did you feel?
Scared. And not just because of the fall. Lots of bricks fell on top of me while I was lying on the ground. Our next door neighbour, who was a firefighter, pulled me out from under the bricks. My mum couldn't believe that I was alive.
How did your life change because of the earthquake?
Well, we had to move to a new house because there was so much damage to our old one. It's in a different area, but I still go to the same school. And it's only got one floor, so I feel a bit safer.
Okay, so we have listened to the passage.
Unit 3, Vocabulary and Listening.
Okay, we have listened to the passage. Okay, there are a few words that I want to explain here. Okay, the first one is shake. Okay, shake. Normally we hear the word shake your body. Okay, shake maksud dia 摇动, bergoyang. Next one, drill, fire drill. Okay, drill means practice. Okay, so what will you do during an earthquake drill? Emergency, kecemasan 紧急. Collapse, collapse means runtuh, 毁灭. Scratch, scratch means ada beberapa calar. Okay, 疤痕. Bruise, cedera, bruise, cedera dengan luka, 有伤痕 break ialah patah, 撞坏. Okay, so let's look at the words shake, drill, emergency, collapse, scratch, bruise, break. Okay, so this is the passage is about a natural disaster in New Zealand. Bencana alam yang berlaku dekat New Zealand. New Zealand is a country in the Pacific Ocean, 1,500 km east of Australia. Many earthquakes happen there. New Zealand also has more than 50 volcanoes. Okay, volcanoes gunung berapi. Okay, so you know that from here, in New Zealand, besides having earthquake, they also have volcanoes. Do we have in Malaysia? Luckily, we don't have it in Malaysia. Okay, so this is an interview between a reporter and Jay. Okay, so the reporter asked, what were you doing when the earthquake happened? Okay, so Jay said, I wasn't at school that day because I was sick. I was sitting on my bed when I heard a terrible noise and the whole house started shaking. Okay, so Jay was on the bed. Dia tengah berada dalam bilik tidur dia, 在他房间里面, when he heard the house started to shake. Okay, rumah tu mula bergegar. Okay, what did you do? Jay said, I realized it was an earthquake, so I quickly got down on the floor between my bed and the wall. Okay, so apa yang dia buat? Dia cepat-cepat meniarap dekat lantai dia. Okay, di bawah katil, di antara katil dengan dinding. I thought that was the safest place. Okay, at school, we often have earthquake drills, so we know what to do in an emergency. Okay, so dekat sekolah biasanya mereka ada buat latihan untuk earthquake ni. Apa yang akan mereka buat? Apa yang mereka patut buat kalau ada earthquake? Jadi biasanya kalau ada earthquake, mereka akan meniarap dekat lantai. Jangan berdiri ataupun panjat tinggi. Okay, what happened next? Suddenly, the wall of my bedroom collapsed and I fell out of the house. Okay, jadi dinding kat rumah dia tu runtuh. 他屋子的墙壁毁掉. I fell about 10 meters from the second floor of the house into the front garden. Jadi dia jatuh dari tingkat 2 rumah dia ke taman dia. Reporter asked, were you hurt? Kamu cedera? At first, I thought I was seriously injured. Okay, mula-mula dia ingat dia akan cedera teruk. But I only had a few scratches and bruises on my back. Rupa-rupanya dia hanya ada caklar sikit dekat belakang dia dan juga cedera sikit. I was really lucky. Dia sungguh bernasib baik. Reporter asked, how did you feel? Apa perasaan kamu? Jay says, scared, takut, afraid, 害怕. And not just because of the fall, lots of bricks fell on top of me while I was lying on the ground. Jadi dia takut dan juga banyak batu bata yang jatuh atas dia. Okay, jatuh menimpa kat dia masa dia meniarap ke lantai. Our next door neighbor, who was a firefighter, pulled me out from under the bricks. Okay, jadi jiran dia selamatkan dia dari batu bata, dari timbunan batu bata. My mom couldn't believe that I was alive. Mak dia pun tak sangka dia masih hidup lagi. How did your life change because of the earthquake? Okay, apa yang berlaku dengan hidup dia? Well, we have to move to a new house because there was so much damage to our old one. Jadi, dia kena pindah rumah baru je sebab rumah lama dia tu dah rosak teruk, dah musnah teruk. Okay, it's a different area, but I still go to the same school. And it's only got 1 floor, so I feel a bit safer. Jadi rumah baru dia sekarang hanya ada 1 tingkat. Jadi dia rasa lebih selamat. Okay, question number 1. Look at the pictures of Jay and his house after an earthquake. Can you guess where he was when the earthquake happened? Jadi di manakah dia semasa earthquake itu berlaku? Okay, dia berada di rumah dia dekat tingkat 2. Okay, so read and listen to Jay's story. Check your answers to exercise 1. Okay, so just now we listened to the passage and I have explained about the passage as well. Okay, so he was in his bedroom. Okay, question number 3. Read the interview again and choose the correct words. Okay, J. Okay, so here, let's see the answer. I realized, okay, Jay tried to escape, protect himself. So I quickly got down on the floor between my bed and the wall. So the answer is to protect himself. Okay, Jay fell out of a window or fell through a wall. Okay, what's the answer? Suddenly, the wall of my bedroom collapsed and I fell out of the house. So Jay fell through a wall. Okay, Jay was badly or not badly hurt in the earthquake, Jay? I thought I was seriously injured, but I actually only had a few scratches and bruises. So Jay was not badly hurt in the earthquake. Okay, Jay was helped by someone he knew, or Jay was helped by a team of firefighters. Jay was helped by someone he knew, his neighbor, who was a firefighter. Okay, Jay no longer live in the same area or goes to the same school. Okay, so here we have to move to a new house because there was so much damage to our old one. So Jay no longer live in the same area. Okay, no longer live in the same area. Okay, let's move to the final part for page 34. Answer the questions. Do earthquakes ever happen in your country? Okay, so do we have earthquake in Malaysia? The answer is we do not have earthquake in Malaysia. When and where was the most recent earthquake? We don't have earthquake in Malaysia, so we do not have to answer these questions. Do earthquakes happen more in some places? Yes. Okay, countries like Japan, Philippines, and Indonesia have frequent earthquakes. So some of these countries that are located at these earthquake and volcano-prone places. Okay, so lucky for Malaysia, we are not in these places. Okay, so that's the end of our lesson today. Okay, so remember to like, share, and subscribe my lesson. Bye. See you again.